Hello guys, so welcome to my, this should be my I think fifth or something tutorial, I'm not too sure. So this is Caleb from SG Photography, and today we are going to tackle raw processing and retouching dark skin using Capture One in Photoshop. So I've got a lot of questions about how I retouch dark skin models and how I approach raw processing, and I thought today I should do a little breakdown of how I do that. So this is a project I shot with a model friend of mine, Apari Aisha. You should check out. So she and I worked on a project with Coco Sachs, which we called Sankofa. So Sankofa is a Ghanaian term that means you return for or learn from your mistakes. So we went for this much of a sorrowful look and had that emotional touch to it. And today's retouch or today's class will be on this particular image. I felt it had more of substance to it and gives a good understanding of, because I don't want to do a lot of retouching. I just want to explain my Capture One process instead of like spending so much time on Photoshop as well. So this is what we're going to do. So I'm going to reset the image to so this is the image reset to its original state. So this is what happens when I import into Capture One, and I use Capture One because I've tried Lightroom as well, and if I compare with Capture One, there's a sharpness and there's a color quality with Capture One that I don't think I can ever get with Lightroom. Mostly Lightroom produces my image a little bit softer than Capture One, so I prefer Capture One, and the raw processing is much better with skin tones than with Lightroom. So yeah, so this is the image we're using today. This image was shot without any plan. I just walked outside, got some plants or some flowers actually, and then we just made a little bunch out of it. Use tape to tape it into a little bunch, and that was it. So initially when I started using Capture One, I would just go with this process and just export to Photoshop, or if I intend to do my color balance or my retouch and my color toning, I would just do it here. But I read an article somewhere, I don't remember where I read it from, that mentioned how raw processing softwares produce brown colors closer to magenta. So if you notice, you realize that this brown color has been processed in such a way that it's really close to magenta as compared to it being close to brown. And I don't know why. I think the software just can't process brown as well as it should be, because the brown skin has a little reflection to its surface as compared to light skin. Light skins are more translucent and allow light to pass through, but dark skins or brown skins actually reflect a little bit light. So too much light and you blow it off. This is just a little light and tip I just threw away. But for some interesting reason, we just don't get as much brown as we should. We end up getting it towards the red instead. So when you come to your color channel, there's a little the base characteristics under the histogram panel. There's an ICC profile. So ICC profiles are more of like color profiles that accompany every camera. So you can see under Adobe, there's Canon, there's a whole bunch of it here. There's the rest of them here, which you can choose from if yours works within there. So the software automatically chooses the Canon 60 because I shot the Canon 60D with an Canon 85 1.8mm lens. So usually what I would do is I'll just go into my profile, go to effects, and then choose no color correction. So what no color correction does is it wipes off everything and then takes it to its neutral state, so sort of like an original state without any addition to it. So it just leaves everything there. You should do a white balance before you do that, but if you don't, it wouldn't be a big change, but you should. It's a good thing to do, it's a good practice to do. So from there, then I just step direct into my exposure tab. I step into my exposure tab, and then within the exposure tab, you could manually tweak this settings to suit your style, to suit what you deem fits for your look. So you can do that and then move away from there. So I'm just going to push the saturation a little bit towards maybe a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, 5 should be fine. Yes, I think a 5 should be fine. Let me just input that value so that I don't have to. So a 5 should be fine. Brightness, I wouldn't push that anymore. I think I'm just more concerned about the contrast. So the contrast is a big deal for me because of the dark skin, so I want to get as much dark skin as I can from it. So somewhere around a 10 should be fine. I think I'm golden. So the highlights I usually do when I have blown out highlights, and I try to regain my detail from there. This image doesn't have anything of that sort. So I'm just going to push in the contrast a little bit more so I can get the dark skin looking out. Yes. So this does it for me. This is a little bit too much. This does it for me. Just go right click, export, variant, folders already checked, TIFF, because I like working in TIFF, and I use a Windows system, so it's easier for me to preview images without having to open them in Photoshop. That's why I don't save as Photoshop files. And secondly, because I've experienced this before, I was once saving a Photoshop file and I lost power, and I lost the file as well. So I save at TIFF because I'm safer that way. So I'm just going to export. It should be done soon. It's going to open in Photoshop, and then we can hide this. So there we go. So we have our image open in Photoshop. We have as much detail here. We haven't lost anything, I believe. Doesn't look like we've lost much. So I'm just going to do my usual setup with the array panel, to fix the blemishes, pimples and stuff, and then I think we should be good. Okay, so there we go. Array panel, 8-bit. For no reason, I just like working in 8-bit. I don't know why. I'm sorry, I'm not too of a technical person. I try it. If it works for me, I'm going to use that. If it doesn't work for me, I'm going to stop using it. So I'm not big on technicals and stuff. So with that done, I'm just going to use my spot healing. I've been trying to figure out how to turn off that circle thing that comes with the flickers, because I'm using a Wacom tablet. I don't know why, and I can't fix it. So I'm just going to use the spot healing brush because it doesn't allow me to sort of sample without having that thing pop up. So what I'm just doing now is I'm taking off the huge blemishes, the visible ones. And one thing about retouching is you don't want to do too much of it. You really don't want to do too much of it, because too much of it, then you lose detail. Your image loses its soul. And I've noticed that with a lot of images where too much retouch and then it's looking all plastic, and then the image doesn't have any soul. So my friend usually says there's so many plastic retouches. So people are retouching their images to look like plastic, and I don't think you want to do that. You want to have your image looking as realistic as possible, so that your model can still be identified as the same model you shot. So I'm just going to fast forward this, and then so that you don't have to sit through the whole retouching process. Okay, so we're good here. I've done the base retouch. I'm just taking off just a few pimples and stuff. I would advise you to work non-destructive, but I'm sure I wouldn't come back here again. So I'm going to do that again. A different layer. Then pop in more for like more detailed look, so you can tell the difference, what has been done and what needs to be done again. So I'm just going to pop in a little bit closer to take off extra more detail, or for extra more pimple, sorry, so that it's more easily recognizable as the original model you worked with. So this is just a story to while away the time. So while shooting this image, I had a planned shoot with her a while back, and we couldn't make time to shoot it. So she just called me in the morning. She said, "Are you home?" And I said, "Yes, I'm home." She said, "I want to come over for a shoot." I said, "Yeah, sure, why not? Please come over." And then she came over, no plan. We thought out the idea directly in the studio, and then we came out with this outcome. So that's one of the reasons why I like working with Aisha, because it's easier for me to create with her and get awesome images out of it. I really love working with Aisha. It's more of like a collaborative force with her, and I don't have to say do this, do that, do this, do that. I like the collaborative nature of photography, so that it's not just you churning out ideas, and that's why everybody deserves credits after the work is produced. So yes, that's just a little backstory to this image. Just going to fix her shoulders. Yes, this is looking much better than before. Okay, so I think we're good. With this one as well, just a little bit more, flatten it, create a new one, exit to one. Okay, so I would also love to talk about how I did the lighting for this image. Before then, I'm going to use the mix brush to do some little smoothing. I'm keeping the layer tab off because the mix brush is going to disturb that. So the mix brush, so I need my sampling. Let's see to that. Sample. Oh, sorry, sample all layers should be checked on. Good. Okay, so before that, I think I might want to turn this down to a 20 and then load to probably 40, mix to roughly around a 60%, and then flow maybe 80. I'm not sure about these numbers, but let's see if they work. So this image was much better. Okay, so this image was shot in a little bit of a dark room, so there's less ambient light influencing that. And before I want to just state something before I go on with this. When doing the mix brush or blending, that you would want to have your image to a full screen, so that as much as possible, if it shouldn't be a full, it should be as big as possible, so that you can see what you are doing. Otherwise you end up doing something that you wouldn't like, and the reason being that it's easier for you to see a full image to mix up that than to have a little square of it or a little fix of it while you mix up. And you don't want to do that, because you end up spending so much time fixing that part, and then you can't blend with the other side. And the main idea behind this is blending with the other parts. Okay, so back to the lighting of this image. This image was lit with two lights. There was one light, which was a Jimbei HD 600 in a 140cm octabox on camera left, and that's one of my favorite modifiers. And the second one was a Godox, sorry for that sound. The second one was a Godox TC300, which had band doors on it, on the top part of the being lit from the top part, the topmost part of the model, so you can see the highlight on the nose bridge and the chin and the lip as well. So the lights come, so it's more of like a straight light coming down, that's also giving the shoulder some light as well. The one coming from the side in the soft octabox was just to fill in and to soften the shadows that will be formed with the light coming from the top, because the light coming from the top didn't have any modifier on it. So you might just want to zoom in a little bit. Yes, this should be good. Okay, so let's see what we are doing. I just want to zoom in a little bit to check out detail, and then fix this part. Okay, so whilst blending, you also want to keep in mind that I'm sorry, I don't know how to turn that on off. You also want to keep in mind that you blend in with the flow. So how the jaw lines flow, you want to paint in that way. How the light flows, you want to be painting that way. You don't want to go the opposite direction. So the nose bridge goes this way, you want to do the same, so that it's easier, it flows across. So the eye under the eye socket, you might want to be flowing as well that way, so it's easier to flow across and to get the required shape without having to distort there. So you see what I'm doing, I'm just filling out the little pore that was there. So usually when I'm done with that, I'm just going to reduce the opacity of the blended layer, the layer with the blended detail, so that it's a little bit less than before, and have some detail popping out through it. So before then, I'm sorry, if anybody knows how to fix that sound, just please comment beneath this video, so I could just fix that, so we don't have the same noise in other tutorials, because I intend to be making more tutorials now. My friend just he just lent me his mic, so you'll be hearing my voice more often than before, or you haven't even heard my voice before. Okay, so we done with the face, I believe. Just gonna fix this shoulder bridge, blend in a little bit with the dark side. So I paint a little bit dark, paint a little bit white. This is a little bit too much. I'll fix that when I'm ready. And then this should do. Fix this part. Yes, I think we're looking good. It's much easier. So with that done, you can see the detail that has been painted here. With that done, okay, to do that, just hold Alt and then right click. It turns off every layer except the one selected. Just going to reduce this opacity a little bit, so we have some detail coming through, and it's much better than before. We fix a little of that. Yes, and then please remember to save. I'm just going to save this. I should as well give this image for retouch, and so whoever wants to try their hands on that can also do the same. So I personally like the detail that pop out of it. I don't want to lose it, so that's why I keep that often. So next moment, what we're going to do is we're going to just create a dodge and bend curves. You can do it manually if you don't have Retouch Academy. It's a very, very easy process to do that, so you can just do that easily. I should do a tutorial on that as well sometime. I can't fix all of that into this, so we're just going to go back to our brush 2 and then reduce opacities to somewhere around 30, and then this also maybe 20, and then we're good. So brush, you might want to you might want to turn down your hardness if your hardness is on. You don't want to have any hard brush effects coming in as well. I need to find a way to turn this thing off. I hate that it keeps coming on. So on dodge for highlight, let's see if it's working. Okay, it is working. Just gonna fix the highlights a little bit more because we lost it during the mix brush 2. We're gonna fix the light coming in it as well. So you want to use that to turn down the eye bulge. There's a little eye bulge here, so you're gonna shade that a little bit just to turn that down a bit. I could have done gone the whole extra and taken off the eye bulge and stuff, but since I'm going for the whole emotional look, I want to maintain that as much as I can and keep the detail going on. Okay, so we're just gonna fix a little bit of the highlights. Let's see how far we've got. A little bit more. Too much of it again, and then it just blows out, and then you lose the person. So the black and white, or the visual ID, it just helps you to see and to locate where exactly you need to place your dodge and bend, so that you don't end up being distracted with color. So there we go. Paint in the color a bit. And as you can see, this is what we've been doing throughout. So this is what we've been tackling with that. And alt click whichever just displays that particular layer, and then just takes the rest off. So the same with the dodge layer. Just gonna paint off where I want a little bit dark. So you can see the nose bridge. I want a little second eye here. So I want to have the little eye socket there. That should do. I really don't like going too overboard on the burn, because most of my images are very high contrasted, so I don't want to go too much on the dark parts of the image. I think I have my touch on. Okay, yes, I do have my touch on. It's giving me some weird effects. So this should do. Let's see. A little bit more here. Let's put a little bit more here. I think we're good. Okay, we'll lower this a bit. Too much of it. Okay, we're good. Should do. That should do. I'm gonna create a new layer so that I fix. I just noticed there's something on her eye. It's one of her eyebrows. So I'm just gonna fix that with the clone to sample, paint across, sample, paint across. Oh, come on. Sample, paint. Come on. Oh, come on. Which one is this? I don't know why it's giving me a hard time with that. Let's see. Okay, so the spot filling brush fixes it much better, so I'm just going to go with that. So as I said before, the tools vary based on what image you're working on, because sometimes there's a need to have another tool as compared to this sequence of tools I've been using. So it's not like it's cast in stone technique. It's just a little understanding of how I work around most of my images and my process to that. So from that, I'm just going to come to the anti-pink, which I like a lot, but I think it's just too much because it gives me too much red on my thing. Just a little, it's very subtle, but it does work. So let me keep that there, and then I'm going to go to my usual color balance palette and start from highlights, pushing a little browns, having a little tough time with that, putting a little yellows, get to my browns, putting a little red towards my highlights, and then I get my midtones, push towards the blues, and little bit. Just a little bit. This is too much now. Remove my magenta. So much. Okay, good. Maybe 3. Okay, and then my shadows. My shadows are going to be on the other side of the spectrum. And that should be. Okay, that should be it. So this is my little process to retouching images. It's nothing big, it's just a usual thing. It's a little color pop here. I'm sure you can see that as well. So that's it. This is it. It's nothing over the top. It's just a generic way of working, and I prefer this a lot because it makes my work a little bit easier. So let me see if I could show you some. Okay, never mind. I wanted to show you some images from that sequence, but it's fine. Yeah, so this is it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. I will be working on a complete process from idea conception through to execution and retouch very soon, and your likes will help me do that. Thank you.